All right, now we're going to talk about Saab 121, Dom. So Paul Atkins is currently Trump's pick for the SEC. I know we should know very shortly, either today, today is Friday, January 24th. He might be confirmed. It looks like will be confirmed. He doesn't seem like a controversial pick like some of the other ones that Trump has. So I don't think there's going to be an issue with him getting in. So Paul Atkins said on day one he would reverse Saab 121, which is in conjunction with what Trump wants. So, Dom, I know you and the listeners are saying, what is Saab 121? I've never heard of it.
What is that? It's like a car model, right?
Yeah,
You drive a Saab
I
121.
think that's a Saab, but yes,
off the lot.
that's a Saab, but this is
Okay.
Saab. So SAB 121. So Saab 121 was a ruling that came out in the SEC under Gary Gensler during Biden's administration. Basically, if banks want to custody Bitcoin, they had to have one-to-one reserves of cash on hand. Basically meaning, how do banks work? Banks work by lending money and making money on the money that they lend out. So basically,
banks work by screwing over the working man.
That's true. Very true. So, but this was basically a death blow, because if banks wanted to hold Bitcoin and other crypto assets, if you wanted to hold $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, you have to have a $1 billion worth of cash. And that's not cash that can go into money market funds. It can't go into bonds. It literally has to stay in cash in the bank. So this is dead money. No bank was ever going to do this.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, like maybe if they're like, hey, we're going to be cute, Dom. We're going to have $100 of Bitcoin on our balance sheet. We're going to have $100 reserve note right there of our boy Benjamin Franklin, so that way we're fully reserved. But basically, this was basically a shot in the foot to the industry that banks were no longer going to have the ability to custody Bitcoin and other digital assets. There was a vote, so this went to Congress, and Biden thought that the Republicans were going to support this and the Democrats were not going to support this and kind of fall in line with what he wanted with SAB 121 with Biden and Gary Gensler. This is not what happened. Let me restate that. This is not what happened, because the Democrats that were, all over the United States, whether Congress or Senate, were like, their constituents are like, no, dude, like, it's not a partisan issue. It's bipartisan. Democrats and conservatives, liberals and Republicans, they all love the Bitcoin and other digital assets. So basically, when it went to a vote with Congress, they actually voted to repeal what Biden administration was doing with SAB 121. Ultimately, this went through the House and the Senate. They both had enough votes to go through. It went to Biden's desk to sign the executive order, and ultimately he vetoed it instead. And then, unfortunately, when it went back to the House, to Congress and Senate, it failed because they did not get a 2/3 majority in order to override it. But even Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Democrats and Republicans alike wanted this to get repealed, because they're like, hey, you're hindering banks, and people want to use banks in order to hold Bitcoin for them. So obviously,
I'll tell you what I don't know if you've been to your local bank lately, Alemo, but it's looking more and more like a museum every day. I go there maybe once a year, for that weird, I don't know what you'd have to go in there for, that foreign currency or traveling, but I don't even use foreign currency anymore. So there's not a lot of reason to go into your banking center. And when you do go in there, you could just put a glass in and kind of walk by and go, hello, folks, like, here is a bank. It used to be used for getting paper cash. And so, yeah, these banks, they have to evolve or, take deeper dives into irrelevancy. And so I'm sure a lot of people looking on are like, don't hinder us from doing that. With that said, I did tweet out the other day that now and only now can JP Morgan say accurately that Bitcoin is used for criminals, because the banks can now hold it. No, just kidding. Lots of great banking people out there. But super relevant development. And I know Saylor tweeted out about it, and a lot of people, this is a huge one of those pillars that moves an industry into digital assets. And if they're smart, they'll hold Bitcoin. And if not, they'll get burned with a bunch of the other trash out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think celebrities enjoy a lot of the benefits. Maybe, they get in, that the celebrities come in, they welcome them with the open arms.
You mean like banks? A lot of celebs use banks still.
Yeah, so I wish we had like celebrity callers that could call in and be like, these are all the perks that I get at banks. JP Morgan Chase treats me really well. Jamie Dimon's a personal friend.
Chris, yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. We actually do have a caller.
Oh, shit.
I think
we have call-in feature?
It is the internet, man. So we just had a guy claiming to be Christopher Walken call it in. Do you you cool if I pipe him in or bring him in?
Oh, you definitely bring him in.
All right,
hold on, I can send him in.
Hey,
rank and file Bitcoin. It's Christopher Walken here, and I'm hearing about this Saab 121. I kind of agree with Dom. I thought it was a car. I thought, maybe the Saab 121 new model. I don't trust these banks as far as I can throw them. They're going to try to get their greasy little fingers on my Bitcoin, and I'm telling you, I may have to put it in a place that they won't be able to get to, and you know where that spot is. So just be careful if the banks are holding Bitcoin. Who knows what they're going to try to do? They may try a hard fork or some along those lines. So keep the course. We got to stay with self custody, not your keys, not your damn coin. Come on.